No, she's got to stay.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Hey, this is another episode of the Backpack Show. We've never said that, huh? Welcome to another episode of the Backpack Show.
Have we not?
I don't know. I can't remember.
The Backpack Show live with Chris Brogan, where you get insights you need in your metaphorical backpack to succeed in the next 5 years.
Whoa, I'm getting tingly just thinking about it. You can make a show like this, we're sponsored, baby. StreamYard, go to cbrogan.me/StreamYard and you can make your own damn show better than this show. Probably not, but let's just pretend we could. We are all about beauty today.
We are, yes. Well, the pageantry of it all.
The pageantry of it all.
Beauty
former beautiful beauty contestant. She's a beautiful contestant.
She's a winner. So Stacey Miller was Mrs. Maryland. So she was a winner. And Hilary, who we have with us today, Hilary Levey Friedman, wrote a book called Here She Is, just brand new book all about the history of pageantry in the United States. It's fascinating stuff.
So
people thought they'd be all gone. They thought beauty pageants would be all done by now, and they're still going strong. So,
and that's the question: can we still be beautiful in the apocalypse? Let's find out. Backpack Show.
I didn't do it today. I didn't drink.
I know. I was watching you like a hawk.
I knew you would bring me out. So if you're new to the show, Chris likes to bring people out from backstage at the most inconvenient times when they're like away from their desk, or the cats just jumped up, or they're taking a sip of their coffee. So John says hello.
What's wrong with you? We've been around.
Jaffe says you are punchy today, Mr. Brogan.
Jaffe,
I'll call you Mr. Brogan. Maybe he's talking to your dad.
I'll tell you privately why I'm punchy. Because I went outdoors for the first time in I don't know how long yesterday on a bicycle. And which, by the way, I almost got run over in the first 10 minutes of being on my bike. I'm like, oh, man, I've really kind of gotten over my anxiety. Look at me outdoors, like a real human outdoors. Man, you fucking asshole. Oh, you're so right.
You could offend the women and pearl clutchers in the audience. I think you better watch that language.
We have neither women nor pearl clutchers in our audience. You know who we do have, though, as our guest? No, because they're all gone. They're all on vacation. So we had to import women.
Did you just say the women are all on vacation?
They're all on vacation. All the women's. They're gone. No. We have Stacey Miller, though.
No. Hi.
Hello.
And it's also not just women who might be offended by bad language, but I myself am not.
So. Nor am I. Hi, guys.
Hi,
you are the creator of bad language, Stacey Miller. That's what I think. I think you generate your own bad language.
Stacey is incredibly smart, incredibly fit, and incredibly nice. And so the whole time I've known you, I've been like, God, I wish I could hate her, but I just can't.
You're so sweet.
No, it's the truth. So this is interesting now. You wanted a hobby, and you decided that trying out for Mrs. Maryland, that would be a good hobby. And I'm like, that hobby seems like so much work. So I need to know the thought process here.
Yeah, when you say it like that, it makes me wonder why I decided to step on a stage in front of people who wanted to judge me and rank me based on just knowing me for a few minutes. But yeah, I just always kind of had a fascination with it. You know, you watch TV shows and I'm naturally like a competitive person. And I thought, I think I watched like a Bravo TV show about it. And honestly, I looked at them and I was like, I'm going to beat those bitches. And that's how it began. And I just applied and I went and I did my first pageant and I won and went to nationals. And, you know, it was a really cool experience. It builds a lot of character, a lot of public speaking prowess. And it was just generally something different to do. I mean, who doesn't like to put on makeup and a sparkly gown and get some cool pictures?
See, that's not the part I get. The part I understand is the competitive part of it. What you just said, I'm like, now you're talking my language.
I was really into the sparkly gown idea. I agree with you. I would like to wear one.
Your hair is too big for a tiara.
I know.
It stays right on top.
Tiara does? That's really good to know.
Yeah.
So the other thing to realize is that, you know, now the way you pair this up is you pair beauty related things up with your world of the auto industry. So naturally, you know, these two things go perfectly the same because women are treated absolutely equal in all aspects of the auto industry. And then you go to, you know, what would be more of a classic women being judged scenario. So it's an interesting mix. I'm interested to know is it just the competition that, you know, how does this fit the Stacey Miller mental puzzle?
I don't know how much I can explain my mental puzzle, but it's just that I am a spectrum of interests. Definitely, I go
You
from
are on the spectrum.
like I watched that last night on Netflix, all 5
That
episodes.
dating show?
Boo-hooed. Yeah, very sweet, by the
So
way.
good.
If you haven't watched it. No, but I just growing up as a kid, you got a dad that works on cars and an older brother. So I've got like this tomboy side, and then felt this need to be like more girly as I got older. So I just kind of melded the two. And, I like guy things, so I can hang out with guys, but I like to be girly too. So, I do a little balance here and there. Some days you might see me with a hat on backwards in the gym. Some days you might see me with a little makeup on, a little sparkle, got to do it up, even though we're in quarantine. So it's fun. It fits.
Muscle cars and beauty pageants.
Yeah, that's a perfect combination.
Do those worlds ever collide? Like, do the people at Auto Care where you work, are they like into the whole beauty pageant thing, or do they kind of not get it?
I have really supportive coworkers. There's a couple of them who are in on the pageants and some of the bodybuilding and stuff that I do on the side. But mostly it's kind of like the skills that you get from the pageantry that translate to marketing and PR, like being a good spokesperson, being the face of the company, being calm under pressure, always knowing the right things to say and messaging and all that fun stuff. That's kind of where the crossover happens and those skills become translatable.
It's very interesting, though, how is it easier to be girly, or is it easier to be nerdy, or has that switched a little? When you were younger to now, has that switched where like it was less acceptable for you to be, kind of towards your nerdy stuff or whatever? Like what's that feel like as far as the outside looking in at you?
Oh, totally. I feel like when you were a kid, being nerdy is like bad, but now I feel like the internet and just the diversity of all the things that we're able to do, being nerdy is great. Like, I wish I could turn my computer right now, but like, there's a Minecraft server behind me over there. I've got like an RGB gaming computer here. Like, we've got electronics on electronics in the house, and like, we nerd out, and like that's our personality, and that's kind of what we do, and that's that's fun. You have like a girl who's down to earth but likes games and cars and electronics and flying, and we are who we are, and that's
you
what
can
makes
wear a
us all
bikini and a
different.
sash and a tiara.
Throw me in a sparkly bikini and we're good. I can hang out with any of y'all any of these days.
Got it handled. So in the days of quarantine, I imagine the Minecraft server's getting hit a little harder than the gym. What's that like for you?
We are full capacity over here. We've got Minecraft. We've got Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Yeah. We've got the yoke. We've got everything. So we're doing that. But dude, quarantine hit, and I knew I had to be one of those people who did not just wallow in Oreos. And I love Oreos and brownies and all these things, but I was like, I can't lose this progress. So I like tore out my guest room, bought every last thing on Amazon that I could find, built a home gym, and did 6 months in quarantine of working out. And it was actually a really smart thing, because I think it got rid of a lot of the stress of everything that's happening, and just made me feel like I was being productive and not just like sitting here rotting in Netflix. Like, oh my God, I can't go outside.
Like me, except without Netflix, because my kids take up the TV with their YouTube.
Yeah.
You have to hide it in some other corner.
Yeah.
You made the transition. Your pageant days are behind you, and now you're into NPC land with bodybuilding and the bikini category. So there's a little bit more musculature required than your typical beauty pageant.
Is there a muscle there?
Look at it. Brought some guns to the gun show.
Sorry, my guns aren't here today. Sorry, guys.
John, you need more sparkles.
Oh, your other guns.
Dad says Stacey needs more sparkles too.
We all need sparkles.
Super into the transferable skills conversation, and everyone's in favor of embracing your inner weirdo. So yeah, let's talk muscles. So how different is the kind of gearing up for the competition? What do you do differently?
Oh my gosh. I mean, the presentation and all of it is the same. Like, you have to have your hair and your makeup and your nails, but they're judging you more on your physique and how much muscle you've built. And it's very much about symmetry. If they put a line straight down you. Is your right arm the same size as your left arm? Like that specific. And the thing that appealed to me about it is pageantry was really fun. It taught me these social skills, but the fitness stuff really is long term. So I was maybe 40 pounds overweight 2 years ago, and I decided to set a goal instead of just go to the gym and lose the weight and probably gain it back. I'm going to do a competition. And what it taught me was resiliency and discipline and clean eating and all of these things that I'm going to take with me for the rest of my life. So I feel like the fitness journey of it for me is going to last years and years and years and years. Whereas the beauty pageant was like, this was really cool for a year, and then you kind of move on.
No, you don't stay in pageant land for indefinitely.
Some people do, but it's quite expensive. So I had to find something different.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too, is that for your bikini scenario, I mean, any one turn up at the event, not counting gym memberships and whatever, I mean, you could get close to 1,000 if you really get it all over with, not counting the flights and hotels. I mean, and people don't think about that there's, if you're in a real season that gets like that. Now, 1,000 probably won't sound like, when we talk to Hilary later, Hilary Levey Friedman, about this, she'll be like, 1,000.
That's nothing.
That's like day one in beauty pageants. But switching to bodybuilding helps you with that. Are you, do you see yourself maybe switching to other, there's the side of being girly. Do you see yourself switching to other challenges just because you're starting to get jazzed on that? Like, are you going to become a Spartan or one of those kind of scenarios? Or like, what are you thinking's next for you in that way?
Dude, I watch these documentaries about like the CrossFitters and the rogue people, like real endurance sports, real big girls that are so strong. And I look at those people as motivation. I don't know if that's my end goal, but I'm like, those are tough ass bitches, man. Like, upside down handstands with 100-pound vests on them. Like, I don't know. I don't know how you do it. I don't know. I'm a tiny girl, but I look to those people for inspiration when I'm lifting my little weights in the gym, trying to get my tone on for these competitions at the very least, because those people have amazing motivation and amazing drive. And I mean, in the end, it's just, what do you want to do and what makes you happy and what makes you feel like you've achieved something long term? That's all it really is.
Like, do you want to be Demi Moore in G.I. Jane or striptease?
Oh, God.
Like, which one are we going?
G.I. Jane, badass. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Depends on the competition you're in, though, right?
Yeah.
It's funny how there's such a gamut for it, though, too. I mean, the idea that someone might do it just because they just want to be ridiculously strong. And like Courtney Olsen with her super amazing, crushed a watermelon with her thighs video. And all of a sudden, all these girls are like, I got to squat more, and they have these like insane, quads and everything because of it. But, whether or not they choose to do it for any particular aesthetic is another whole monster. It's interesting that, too. Do you find that judgmental side gets a little weird where like, look, I'm doing my thing over here. It's my religion over here. It's their religion over there. Or do you just bypass that? How's your brain work around that?
I'm a total noob, fully admitted, total noob at all of this. So because I'm in the beginning of this journey, I'm just like super grateful to be where I am. I like admire other people for where they are. Like, I go to the gym and they're like real big girls. I'm like, girl, you look good. You look real good. Just like, build that camaraderie. And that was one of the things I think that brought me to bodybuilding over pageantry. Not saying there's anything wrong with pageantry, but I know you'll touch on this a little bit with Hilary, but pageantry can get a little catty, and I feel like I made more lifelong friends in bodybuilding because the journey was so much more intense and people just know what you go through a little bit more and appreciate that versus pageantry where it's like, bitch, I'm gonna tear your hair extensions out so you lose type. That's what it felt like for me in some of it.
And you're so nice. So people joining maybe don't know you, but you're incredibly nice and supportive and encouraging of other people in their pursuits, right? And so I would think your competitors, I was going to say your competition, but like your competitors probably would vote you Miss Congeniality or whatever, if that's a thing in whatever competition you're in now. So it must have been tough for you to witness that, that type of negativity in a competitive scenario.
Yeah, I think the way I go about it is that I'm a chill person, right? Like, I'm at a competition, but I'm not like I know that I'm not going to be upset if I don't win first place. What's happy for me is that I made it to the competition. I know I'm going to place because I know that I worked hard and I got there, and I'm like, oh, I did this. Of course, everybody wants first place. I'm disappointed that I didn't get a first place, but I'm there for the fun. I'm there for the journey. I'm there for the long term. And I'm the chick that's like dancing backstage and like shaking her butt and just like keeping the mood up instead of like all this pressure and all this tension, because at that point it doesn't get fun. And then it's like, why are we doing this if it's not fun? Like, I don't want to be here.
Well, I was just thinking when you said that about the backstage, it's got to be a little tricky because you're so, at least at NPC and bodybuilding, you're like ready to eat the wall because you've starved yourself to get the single digit body fat. So I was thinking you're dancing backstage, you're the kind of people look at you like F you even more because you've got that energy still, and they're thinking I would kill just to eat somebody's arm at this point.
Literally, you got like hangry girls, and then you got the girls that are like 20 more minutes and I get a 1 pound brownie. That is all I want. So it's
ice cream.
Yeah, and then everybody's like trading their treats backstage right before they go on show. Like, hey, do you want this brownie? Hey, my mom made these cookies. Do you like sour candy? And we're just like, everybody's got a suitcase full of candy that we're going to eat afterwards because, we haven't had it in 6 months. So
I love that. But like you were saying, for some people, this is their life. Like you're going to go back, you're going to go to auto care and work on the aftermarket cars and making sure that, you got the muscle you want in your automobile. So you have a whole different life apart from it.
I do. Yeah. I got to turn wrenches and be strong, right?
Do you think that's easier or harder than focusing on the one thing?
Oh man, they are both like really fulfilling. And I think like focusing on the bodybuilding as the hobby, that's like really good personally. But I also have a really personal connection to the work that I do at Auto Care. And that is just making sure that, the people who are listening, you and me, you can repair and maintain your car wherever you choose, and that it's affordable for you and that you're safely on the road. So I have a really big passion for that, repairing and maintaining my own car, which is why I came to the industry, and protecting that industry is kind of what I do every day through my PR and communications.
For muscle car fans in the audience, what do you drive?
Ooh, there better be some Dodge fans in here.
In the audience.
Her Instagram is full of Dodges, so I kind of know her answer.
I know. I want to challenge a Hellcat.
Boot anyone who says Ford. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I have a Camaro, so I'm safe. I think. I don't know.
Yeah. That's my number 2.
Like the Mets to the Red Sox. We're not enemies because our mutual enemy is the Yankees. So.
Everyone's staying quiet.
That's I think all of my sports analogies. That's all I know about sports. What's your dream car?
Harrison, wants to know your dream car.
Oh God, one of those sexy, just black on black 69 Dodge Chargers. Yes. Big, beefy bad boys. Oh my God. One day.
We're talking muscle car porn with Stacey Miller. And
if you're just joining us, Stacey's dream car, 69 Dodge Challenger.
Black on black. All right.
Black on black.
We're taking you out, Stacey. Stick around if you can. Thank you so much for coming on and telling us what's new. And
please stick around. We'll bring you back.
Will do.
We'll decide in the break whether or not you have a survival server or creative. I'm hoping survival. All the hot people have survival servers. Welcome back to the Backpack Show. Glad you're here. Oh, just reminders, because this seems like a good time before we bring out the amazing Hilary Levey Friedman that hit the wrong button. We're sponsored by StreamYard right now. See brogan.me/StreamYard. Make your own dumb show. You don't have to watch ours. We'll watch yours. It's fine. Joseph Jaffe uses it.
Dumb.
Shut up. All the important people know.
Fascinating show.
This is nearly fascinating.
In no small part because the audience joins us and comments and asks
right.
questions, and you're as important to the show as any of us. So thank you for joining us.
The only reason we're doing the show, I was doing the show by myself before anyone came, and nothing happened. It was really weird. It was awkward. All right. I'm dragging in Hilary because, we need to make sense of all this stuff. So, where is she? Here she is.
Hello. Hi, Hilary.
Author of the book. Here she is, Hilary Levey Friedman.
I appreciate the pun.
Yes. Now you have multiple degrees from Harvard University, University of Cambridge. You're brilliant, and you grew up though with your mom having been a beauty queen. So what's that like? Like, how do you choose your life's pursuit when you grow up in pageantry and you went so completely afield from it?
And yet I wrote a book about beauty pageants.
Yes.
So I've ended up back here. But I would say that growing up, it was like, in my mind, I thought my mom was the beauty and I was the brains, and that like never the twain should meet. But as I got older and I went to college and all of the skills that my mom had said, it's actually really important that you tweeze your eyebrows. She would always say, you have to tweeze, you don't pluck, because you only pluck a chicken. Or like doing big hair or wearing lipstick like I am now. She said those are just as important as doing well in the classroom. And I started to see as I got older that those things were important. And certainly today, it's like beauty and brains are definitely not mutually exclusive. And women in particular, but men as well, can do so many different things. And it's about knowing who you are and feeling comfortable with how who you are and how you are, which is kind of what Stacey was talking about.
Well, we're all judged for it all the time. We just don't usually go on stage and, get ranked and stuff. But people do judge you. I mean, I'm a lawyer, and if I stood up to speak in front of a jury, they would look at me first and then decide, if what I had to say was worth listening to or trusting.
Look, we're humans, and it's great that we are thoughtful and think, but at the same time, like, we're still animals, and there's a part of our brain that just in the first 20 seconds we meet someone is evaluating them. I mean, at a certain stage of life, maybe that's related to fertility and sexuality, and that's what attraction is about. So these things actually matter, and a lot of the aspects of appearance that are highlighted in beauty pageants have to do with, are you going to be a good partner that I can hopefully reproduce with?
Has that really evolved a whole lot? I mean, you studied this from a lot of different angles, including your sociology knowledge and all that. And in so many ways, there's pushback, right? There's a bunch of feminists who are like, this is terrible, it's whatever. And yet, you're a pretty darn smart person who finds some value in writing a book around it and all that. So what don't people understand about it that they should gather some knowledge before they get so complaining?
Okay, well, let me answer this in two parts. The first part is what has changed about appearance, which is super interesting, which goes back to what Stacey was talking about. So being fit has like totally changed for women. It was always important to be thin, but being fit is very different now. So it's not enough to just be thin. You have to have muscles and be toned and that sort of thing. And then the tan is super interesting. And I know that's also very big in fitness competitions. It's one similarity. You walk into a pageant or a fitness competition and you smell hairspray and spray tan solution. And like, that's the smell of both of those things. But the preference for like tan skin, that's been a change in like women's beauty over time. Now, in terms of the feminism, I mean, let's just talk about Miss America for a second. There are lots of different pageants, but Miss America started as a bathing beauty contest only about how women look. And within 15 years, they added in a talent competition. And then in the decade after that, they added in this college scholarship, which was like super out there in the 1940s. Not many women were going to college. And here's an organization that's about, you win this and you get a scholarship to go to college or to pursue a graduate degree. So I really think Miss America reflects, and pageants more generally reflect, like the monumental changes that have happened to American women's lives over the past 150 years, almost 200 years.
Oh,
this is a big moment, right? You have to highlight this in the whole deal, Hilary. So, what a great way to explain it, especially about the changes, especially about when you say about fitness, because one of the things a little backstory quick, and then I'll get to it. So I went to a bunch of these NPC figure competitions, which again are similar enough to pageants that you get it. There's a lot of expensive gear. There's, what it is though? So I'm a guy backstage around all these people in their like bikinis and things. And I'm like, this is going to be so sexy. It was the least sexy place I've ever been around women in my life. Every one of them is so hangry, they're going to murder you. Every one of them is working about keeping parts in with a bunch of glue and stuff. That smell of the spray tan, because you have to have it. If you don't have it, I watched one person, it was a male, of course, who forewent the process, and he was invisible on the stage. You might as well just brought me up because you could see nothing. I guess what I'm asking is the pizzazz of all the work to do that, even in beauty or what, especially in beauty. Why is that going to be interesting to people post 2020? When everyone sort of feels like the apocalypse happened. Like, tell me a little bit about this place in sort of keeping the glue of society or whatnot.
Well, look, we're looking at each other on these webcams, and I joke that I turned 40 during the pandemic, and what happened when I turned 40 is that I got Zoom neck. So we're not on Zoom. Zoom is very unforgiving, I find. We're like looking at ourselves in this different way that we haven't before. And suddenly you're seeing like so many more ads for like Latisse and like eyelash stuff and making your eyes bright. Lumify, I think it is, the eye drops to make your eyes white. So whatever is more visible on the face or like above the mask in a way that we can still connect and communicate, it just like goes to show that how we look in appearance is still part of it. Now, how that's going to look in terms of beauty pageants and how they happen in person is a very different question. I looked on Stacey's Instagram, so I saw that they had matching sequined masks to their swimsuits at the fitness competition, which is a creative way to do that and is starting to happen in some pageants. But you know, what happens when we can't get together in large groups for a while? I mean, hopefully we're going to have a vaccine soon and all of those sorts of things. But I think we're going to see lasting changes to, you know, not just certain pageants, but how people get together for competitions in general. Like dance competitions have started, you know, they pivoted to people could submit tapes and they were judged virtually. So, you know, this is an evolving process, and could we have ever imagined living in these times? I'm not sure.
Stacey backstage says the 3 women on this show are going to keep the lipstick industry alive in the age of masks. That's fair.
I've gotten more matte lipsticks too. I used to always love a gloss, but the gloss, you know, wears off on the mask. So I have to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, the things I don't think about. Oh my, I never even thought about that.
People predicted though that pageants would be gone, that they would end, that we'd kind of be over them, especially with the evolution of women's liberation and all that stuff. We were supposed to be concerned with more serious things, but still they're here. So what's that about? What does that say about us as a society?
Well, first of all, if we're thinking of it in terms of feminism, I actually think that's a triumph of feminism in some ways. I'm definitely a third wave feminist. I'm very active in the feminist movement. But to me, feminism is about choice. And it was terrible when a woman who wanted to be a doctor couldn't be a doctor, or a woman who wanted to be a mechanic and work on cars couldn't do that. But by the same token, like if everything is about choice and being able to access whatever we want to do, we shouldn't disparage someone because they want to do a pageant or they think that's fun or they want to be a model or whatever it is that's more appearance based. And so to me, feminism is about having a choice, and that's really a success of the feminist movement more broadly. But also what I was saying before, like we are still animals, and whether we want to accept it or not, we are being judged on how we look every single day. And we shouldn't only be judged based on how we look, but it is part of the package, right? Like you mentioned, when you go to court and you stand up, right? Like you are probably not going to wear a sequin bikini. Like you know what that package should be, and that's part of appearance as well. And so I just think all of that, it's good to be, I mean, you called me brilliant. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's good to be book smart in that way. But it's also really good to be situationally smart and have emotional intelligence too.
Well, it's tough, you know, depending on the context, sparkly bikini is just what you need. But, you know, if you're a lawyer, it's like my skirt can't be too long because then it looks schoolmarmish. We can't be too short because then I look, you know, whorish. So I got to like hit the right length. It's a whole thing. So
and men don't have to really deal with this.
Oh,
right?
No, are you kidding? No.
There's a suit, and it's literally a suit. And that is one thing
that's literally all you have to do.
Uniform.
When you think about how much time women spend then just like thinking about, forget about the makeup and the hair, just like thinking about what you should wear is totally different than what men have to deal with.
On top of many, many hours preparing for trial on the merits of the case. Let's add that too.
That old thing.
Deanna says, I sometimes pretend I'm resting my chin in my hands, but I'm actually doing a pretend facelift, like Zoom face. Thanks for the hack there. And Jack says he agrees it's about choice. So if a woman wants to be physically attractive, what's wrong with that? Said the caveman. I love that for Stacey. It was, you know what would be fun?
Starving.
I'm going to go compete. I'm going to go to a beauty competition. Her and one of our former guests, Lucy Windham Reed, was like, I want to get fit. So I'm going to join the military. These all or nothing
just
things.
Jump over the fence choices.
Listen, fascinating to me.
Speaking of Stacey Miller, let's drag her back in. I have a little panel experience. Woo!
Oh, hey.
Everybody on stage at once.
Welcome back.
Hey,
Did we touch up our makeup?
No, I should have, though. My God. Hey, I have to totally add something to what Hilary said, because I totally neglected. I love like this talk about choice, because I think there's a lot of misconception about like pageantry and fitness and like all of these competitions, because the choice and competition has also really broadened over the past, I don't know how many years. So it used to be like a beauty pageant, a bathing beauty pageant, but the pageant that I entered was a Mrs. pageant. So most beauty pageants are for young 20-something women. You're in college. I had joined one for accomplished married women. And what it awarded was women who were educated, who were intelligent, who supported wonderful causes and used their platform. So I was competing against a girl. She knew 7 languages. Another one, she was an airline pilot. Another one, she had 3 master's degrees. I was like, what the fuck? I just work on cars. Like, what? Damn it. But it was really, really amazing. So like there are more merits than just the beauty in some of them. And I think that that's really cool to understand and hear that this day and age, it's more than just the looks.
Longtime viewer Bob Collins is checking in from Twitter. And
From
Steve
Twitter.
Garfield says, Lucy Windham Reed for the win.
I did not know. Thank you for translating that, because I was like, or
LWR. Well, just think about all the handles and how long they would be if it was Lucy Windham Reed all the time.
Sounds like a Minecraft villager.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does. It does. So then what do you see, Hilary, as the evolution of pageantry and competition? How did we end up with so many options? Like now there's fitness and there's all different parts. There's strength, and then there's fitness, like how fit you look. And then there's, kind of regular straight ahead beauty pageants. How many more? How many more are we going to have? And when can we get to the like chubby Mrs. America pageant? Because I feel like I'd have a shot at that.
Well, first of all, that exists. So there's like a pageant for every body type. There's plus size pageants, there's petite pageants, there's wheelchair pageants, there's like all different kinds of things. There's also Miss Senior America. There's like pageants for older women as well. So, part of this to me is like, came up, I'm into competition. I love to compete. So I think that anybody who wants a crown, like if you get a specific enough title or competition, like you're going to make sure you win a crown. Or it's like for kids who want to be able to say they're the national champion and everything. So, or in anything. So there's like some opportunity for like, if you roller skate for 2 hours a day and you're like 8 years and 5 months old, you can be the national champion. So probably there's a crown for everybody. But that also just shows like the amazing diversity in our society. On the one hand, it's great that Miss America and Miss USA reward a specific type of woman, but maybe that's not you and maybe that's not what you're interested in, but there's still an opportunity for you to compete and represent yourself in your community.
Yeah, zero chance I would have been Miss anything. It's a Miss
I
attitude.
do like the fact, like Tracy said, though. Stacey said you could do Mrs. now. So
you're Miss Badass.
I would still be Mrs. Attitude. I feel it's going to be a problem no matter what. So
knuckle sandwich competition coming up. Listen, one of the things we do on the Backpack Show is we have a person of the day. I'm a little interested to know if Carrie has a vote for person of the day today. We almost always agree on this one, but
no, because now you've said that there's so much pressure. I feel like I definitely won't agree with you on person of the day.
Same.
I think Deanna, because of her transparency and sharing her hack for Zoom.
Her facelift is a good enough reason to do it.
I really do.
Deanna Shaws.
For one thing, it's useful information, and for another thing, she came out and said it, and it was very, I thought, very brave.
Is it working?
Super brave.
Is it working?
Yeah, I'm doing.
I'll just go like this all together. They don't. Then as long as you don't have roots, it'll be good.
I learned you just put your mask around your neck too. You know what I mean? You lose all your double chins. So
put your mask on. Let's do it.
Just like here when you're kind of
you
just finished your bike ride and you're like, oh, I'm good, and then you don't take it off for like 7 hours.
It looks like you were just in the gym for like 2 months. That was great.
I don't want to go to the gym. Nobody around here is wearing masks and stuff. Like I won't go because I see all those people at block parties and everything, like from my window, and I'm like, I know they're going to the gym 2 miles away. I'm not going. Yeah, breathing heavy next to them. It's a problem.
Yeah.
All right.
Get outfitted in my garage like Stacey.
Yeah, get some kettlebells and some kettle corn. It'll all work out. All right. I have to push a button and show you something. So the other point of the show is that we are about the backpack, which is everything's crazy out there. It's all chaos. It's the apocalypse. We can't build on any solid ground. So we can only carry about a backpack worth of stuff. So metaphorically, what goes in your backpack? What kinds of things do you need to survive the next 5 years? Metaphorically. Stacey Miller, something come to mind?
My number one thing, and I literally was like having shower thoughts. Yes, we're on Reddit. We're having shower thoughts about this yesterday because I was like, I need to make sure I say something good. And I think one of the things that I put in my metaphorical backpack is good character. Like we were talking a little bit earlier backstage about how the internet is just a shitty place today, and watching the news, and everybody's stressed. We're working hard. We can't do the things that we want to do. We're trying to take care of our families. One of the things that has gotten me through, and I will take with me everywhere, is good character. So someone had said, what is that quote? It's like, character is what, what you do when no one's looking. And pageants kind of teach you that someone's always looking at you, and you should always be acting with the highest of character. And I think that that's in your personal life, in your business life, at work. Like having good character makes you a better person. It makes you easier to work with. It makes you easier to get along with. So I would say have a good character. Don't be a shitty person.
I thought you were going to say world peace.
Oh, shit.
Isn't that the pageant answer?
Namaste.
Thought that was pageant answer number 1, and then you go on from there. World peace, whales, children, whales.
Hilary, what's in your backpack?
So for sure, knowing yourself, and I know that sounds sort of trite as well, but knowing who you are and being okay with it, and saying, I want to do the cars, or I want to do the glitz, or whatever it is, and that gives you a certain degree of authenticity, and that comes through in like all aspects of your life then. Not just professionally, but personally too. And then because I have 6 and 8-year-old boys, and you brought up Minecraft, in their actual backpacks, I could not survive for the next few years without an iPad and their ability to play Minecraft. And I've been trying to figure out if there are Minecraft skins for beauty pageants or something, because then I'm going to make them do that. But that's my practical thing today, is that my kids may not be able to survive without devices.
And a copy of your book. Here she is.
Here she is, Hilary Levey Friedman. Go pick that book up anywhere books are sold, especially little indie bookstores who need your love in these times.
And Stacey, any rare auto parts you're going to need for that vintage charger? You're going to need
vacuum solenoid. There'll be a vacuum solenoid in it at some place.
Hopefully.
It was 1987. I am under the hood of my second car I've ever owned, and my good buddy John, his dad knew all about cars, opens it up, and the very first thing he points out to me in my car, which was a 80-something Citation, which were awful cars, he's like, right here, this is the vacuum solenoid. And I don't remember any of the description of what it did. All I remember is that was the first thing he put it out. Not like, here's the engine block, here's the spark plugs, here's a big propeller that you shouldn't touch. Random vacuum.
Good for nothing except braking. So good luck with that. Scott says his favorite quote was, adversity doesn't build character, adversity reveals character. I don't know. Is it adversity when you're competing in a show? Deanna says, our person of the day, Deanna says this was great. Do you consider it adversity? I mean, it's not like something you put yourself through, right? You choose to compete.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you really choose to be there. Sometimes you're overcoming adversity and, to compete. If you're competing in a, Hilary mentioned there's competitions for petite women, or there's competitions for disabled. There's competitions for anything. Sometimes you have an injury and you overcome that adversity to compete. Everybody has a different journey.
I was thinking about what my grandmother would compete in, and I think